Hello everyone, and welcome to the Jolly Scarecrows channel. You're with me, Joe, and I have with me today one of our Injection Fairy Lily decks. This one's called Pump Up the Neos, and essentially its whole shtick is lowering your life points to then hit your opponent with a Sucker Punch. And we're going to be doing that with the card Elemental Hero Air Neos. If you don't know what this does, because it went ages without being reprinted, so it wouldn't surprise me if newer players hadn't seen this card before. When your life points are lower than your opponent's, it gains attack equal to the difference. So if your life points stay down in about 1,000, and your opponent's still on 8,000, this thing's going to have 9,000, 10,000 attack, so it can hit in for that OTK. And really, that's kind of what this deck's about: lowering your life points to a level where Air Neos can hit the OTK. So how are we going to lower our life points? Well, one of the methods is obviously through the Injection Fairy Lily. That's what these decks are about. That's kind of one of the side methods, I guess. Your main methods are going to be using things like Solemn Judgement to stop your opponent from playing. This Divine Serpent Gare, so basically if any of your monsters you control is destroyed, you can pay half your life points to summon it from your hand. It's actually pretty decent as a monster. It can't be targeted, your opponent can't run it over in battle, or at least once per battle. So it's pretty, and it can negate the effects of a monster during the damage step. So it's actually a pretty nifty little thing just to have out as well. The main way you're going to manipulate it, though, is the Predator Plant. You can probably all see this coming, in that you can pay 2,000 life points to then get the Neos Fusion straight from the deck to play it, and then bring out the Neos. So really, you're going to kind of want to halve your life points, then pay the 2,000, so you're in around the 2,000 point range, and then try and swing the game with the Neos. So we're running 2 copies of Neos, 3 copies of Air Hummingbird. Sometimes you can, in order to use the effect of maybe Injection Fairy Lily or the Predator Plant again, sometimes you might actually use the Air Hummingbird's effect just to give your life points that bit of top up, but generally you don't need it. We're running 3 copies of this Dragades, the Empowered Warrior. So this is a monster which has an effect on when it's being destroyed, so you can kind of play off just playing the Dragades, hoping, when your opponent destroys it, you can play the Gare, and then you can also get either the Neospace Connector, a Neos itself, or Injection Fairy Lily. I actually think it, with 2,000 effectively. So you can't get the Neos itself, but you can get the Connector, which will get you the Neos, or you can get Injection Fairy Lily. So it's got a way of searching the Lily. We're running 3 copies of Ash, brilliant, obviously, and we're running 1 copy of Rainbow Dark Dragon in the off chance that you might want to, rather than go for Air Neos, go for Rainbow Neos, because it has a whole plethora of really fun, entertaining effects. So if you do love Rainbow Neos, we have a specialist Rainbow Neos deck available on the channel. So I think that's all of the monsters accounted for. Obviously, Neos Fusion is one of the big cards in the deck, which lets you play Air Neoses at will, and it also prevents its effect from being going off the field at the end of the turn, which is kind of handy. Sometimes you need that beat to stick out for as long as you can. Got a couple of staples in there, like Reinforcement of the Army, Monster Reborn. We've got Twin Twisters in there because we don't really have any spell and trap removal, and you kind of want to be going for game, so you do want that kind of cleared, if at all possible. Monster effects are probably one of the main disruptors, so we're running 3 copies of Impermanence. Draw power is much needed in this deck, so we're running Desires because we need the extra deck, and we don't need all the monsters at all. We don't probably don't need 3 copies of Air Hummingbird, for example. And lastly, we've got Megamorph, the OG Injection Fairy Lily card. So if your life points are lower, the equipped monster's original attack is doubled. It's key to say the original attack because some people might think Any is just going to hit astronomical heights, but no, only gives it 2,500 more. It's usually enough to go to game if you're in about the 3,000 point range and your opponent's still on 8k, but it's not gonna make it 16, 17,000. Right, I think that's all we've really got. There's a key template of the deck. If you liked this video, please check out some others. I think this is the last of our Injection Fairy Lily decks, but we're going to hope to have some more Destiny Hero decks. There's obviously a brand new bird archetype. I'm an ornithologist, and there's one that's going to completely destroy Yugioh and we're hoping to see that on the channel as well in the near future. Thank you very much for watching.